I've always believed that every relationship carries a small box of secrets, little things people hide, not out of malice, but out of fear of losing what they love. I've seen marriages fall apart because someone opened that box too fast. But nothing, absolutely nothing, compares to what happened to Marcus. Every time I think I've heard the worst, a story like his reminds me that people can create storms out of pure jealousy. And this one? This storm was manufactured with precision. Marcus had always been the kind of guy who avoided drama. He wasn't perfect, nobody is, but he was calm, steady, thoughtful. He grew up in a small city, with that kind of upbringing that teaches you to apologize even when you're not wrong just to keep the peace. Maybe that's why he didn't see the danger coming, because people like him don't expect others to intentionally destroy what they've built. They don't expect a lie to be crafted so carefully, so deliberately, that it could tear apart a marriage that was supposed to last a lifetime. He met Sophie 3 years after his divorce. And look, this is just me talking here, but I've always admired people who dive again into love after heartbreak. A lot of folks don't have the courage. Sophie was different from his ex-wife in every way. She was warm, patient, the kind of person who found joy in small things like morning coffee rituals and picking the perfect playlist for long drives. Marcus felt safe with her. And for a long time, everything really did seem perfect. They married quickly, some people say too quickly, but that's what love does sometimes. It makes you believe timing doesn't matter. And honestly, I understand that feeling. When you think you found your person, you don't wait. You jump. But even a good marriage has shadows. And in Marcus's case, that shadow had a name, Victoria. His ex-wife. Victoria was, well, let's just say she was the type of person who couldn't accept being replaced. Even after their divorce, she still somehow found ways to stay present in Marcus's life. A text here, an email there, excuses involving leftover belongings she forgot to pick up, or documents she claimed she still needed. In the beginning, Sophie didn't mind. She thought it was just life stuff, normal loose ends from a past relationship. But slowly, things started feeling off. The first incident happened on a Wednesday afternoon. Marcus was at work when Sophie called him sounding confused. She said she'd received a message from an unknown number. A screenshot. It supposedly showed Marcus telling Victoria he regretted the divorce and that his new marriage wasn't what he expected. The message ended with, "I miss you." When Sophie confronted him, Marcus felt like the air had been punched out of his lungs. He'd never written that. Ever. He didn't even use that messaging app anymore. He tried to show Sophie his phone, his account, everything. But she wasn't angry, just hurt. And sometimes, hurt is even more dangerous. It sits quietly, spreading like mold. Marcus spent hours trying to prove it was fabricated, but the screenshot looked real. The timestamp, the layout, the grammar, everything matched his usual writing style. And this is something I need to say because I think anyone who's been in a relationship understands it. Once doubt gets inside someone's mind, it doesn't need proof to grow. It just needs silence. And Sophie went silent for the rest of the day. Marcus didn't sleep that night. He lay next to her, staring at the ceiling, trying to understand the motive behind that screenshot. Why would Victoria do something like that? What did she gain? He hadn't talked to her in months other than the occasional polite reply to some logistical thing. She had moved on. Or at least he thought she had. The second lie came a week later. This time, it wasn't a screenshot. It was an email directly to Sophie's inbox. A long paragraph supposedly written by Marcus, apologizing for the continued secret meetings with Victoria and saying he would end things once he found the courage. It was written in a tone that resembled Marcus's natural voice so perfectly that even he was shaken for a moment. He couldn't believe someone would go this far. He checked his email outbox. Nothing. He checked drafts. Nothing. Checked every device connected to his account. Nothing. But Sophie wasn't convinced. And honestly, I can't blame her. If I were in her shoes, I don't know what I'd believe either. Marcus tried calling Victoria, desperate for answers, but she didn't pick up. When he finally found the courage to confront her in person, she acted confused and offended that he'd accuse her of something like that. She even pretended to cry. She said she wanted nothing to do with him and that she respected his new marriage. It was a performance, and looking back, Marcus said it was flawless. Almost convincing enough to make him wonder if someone else could be behind it. But something about the way she looked at him, this cold satisfaction flickering behind her tears, made him realize she was enjoying this. She wanted him off balance. She wanted him afraid. Over the next few weeks, little things started happening that slowly chipped away at Sophie's trust. One night, Marcus found her sitting in the dark living room, eyes red from crying. She asked him if he still loved her. If he regretted marrying her so soon. If Victoria still had a place in his heart. He fell to his knees, holding her hands, swearing that none of the accusations were true. He told her he loved her more than anything. But she didn't answer. She just cried quietly. And this was the beginning of the fall. Every lie Victoria created became more elaborate. Fake call logs. Altered photos. Even a short audio clip where Marcus's voice, artificially generated, said things he'd never said. The technology was scarily accurate. Sophie found it all. Or rather, Victoria strategically sent it to her through anonymous accounts. Marcus's world was collapsing. He felt helpless. Every attempt to prove his innocence made him look more guilty, as if he was scrambling to hide something. Sophie became distant. She stopped waiting for him after work. Stopped kissing him goodnight. Stopped trusting his words. One evening, Sophie's sister came over unexpectedly. She had always disliked Marcus. She was convinced men couldn't be trusted. The perfect person for Victoria to manipulate. She told Sophie that sometimes, the truth hurts more when it's right in front of you. That comment alone was enough to push Sophie over the edge. Later that night, Sophie told Marcus she needed space. Those words echoed inside him like a sentence. He tried to hold her hand, but she flinched. Not because she feared him, but because she no longer believed him. And that is a different kind of pain, being doubted by the person you'd give your life to. Marcus moved to the guest room, and for the first time in their marriage, they slept apart. I remember Marcus telling me, and this part stuck with me, that he felt like he was grieving someone who was still alive. Sophie walked around like a ghost. She spoke less. Smiled less. It was as if Victoria had stolen something far deeper than trust. She had stolen the foundation of who they were. But what Marcus didn't know was that the worst part hadn't even happened yet. 2 days after he moved into the guest room, Sophie confronted him with the final blow, an email from Victoria claiming she was pregnant. And not just pregnant, but pregnant with Marcus's child. Attached were ultrasound images and a DNA test form already filled with Marcus's name. Everything looked official. Real. Heartbreaking. Sophie collapsed into tears. She said she couldn't be the other woman in her own marriage. She asked Marcus to leave the house for a while so she could think. And Marcus, he broke. Completely. He packed a small bag, left the house, and sat in his car for almost an hour, unable to even start the engine. He didn't know where to go or what to do. He called his best friend, Adrian, who immediately told him to come over. When Marcus showed him the email, Adrian didn't believe it. Not for a second. Adrian said something Marcus would later realize was the turning point. Man, this is too perfect. Too convenient. Real lies are messy. And this is staged. She slipped up somewhere. We just need to find out where. It was the first time someone believed him without hesitation. And that gave Marcus the strength to fight back. While staying at Adrian's apartment, Marcus began digging through everything, emails, call histories, account logs, metadata, digital footprints. He spent hours trying to find any irregularity. Nights passed without sleep. And slowly, he started noticing tiny cracks in the lies Victoria had built. But the real discovery, the one that would change everything, was still hiding in a place neither he nor Sophie ever expected. Marcus didn't sleep for almost 2 nights. He stayed at Adrian's apartment, surrounded by scattered papers, screenshots, printed emails, and a laptop that never stopped glowing. He kept replaying every moment of the last few weeks, every suspicious detail, every shift in Sophie's behavior. It all felt like a movie he never asked to be part of. And honestly, I remember thinking, even hearing the story secondhand, that it's terrifying how quickly a lie can turn into someone's new reality. People say, the truth always comes out, but sometimes the truth is so buried under layers of manipulation that it barely has room to breathe. Adrian, unlike Sophie, approached the situation with logic rather than emotion. He watched Marcus break apart piece by piece before finally stepping in, placing a hand on his shoulder and saying, "We're not leaving this table until we find something. There's always a mistake." Those words grounded Marcus. He needed something solid to hold on to. Victoria's lies were too perfect, too polished. Real life isn't that organized. Real evidence comes with flaws, inconsistencies, gaps. And the first crack appeared in one of the ultrasound photos. Adrian noticed it. Not Marcus. He zoomed in until the image was almost pixelated. Then he pointed to the corner. "Why does the date format look like this?" he asked. The date on the ultrasound had a European format, which didn't match the default format from clinics in their region. At first glance, it seemed like nothing, but to someone analyzing everything with desperation and precision, it was a golden thread. Marcus pulled that thread. He searched online for imaging software and realized the photo had been edited. Layers were mismatched. The metadata didn't line up with the date Victoria claimed. The file creation time and the embedded timestamp contradicted each other. The more he looked, the clearer it became, the pregnancy was fake. But proving the ultrasound was doctored wasn't enough. Sophie needed more. She needed something irrefutable, something she couldn't explain away with emotions or doubts. Marcus knew that if he went home with just technical proof, Sophie might still believe Victoria had a reason, or that Marcus was manipulating things to make himself look innocent. The next clue came from the email headers in the pregnancy message. Adrian helped him trace the source, and they discovered that the email wasn't sent from Victoria's real address. It came from a masked service, one people used to hide their identity. But the masking was sloppy. The logged IP address didn't match Victoria's home. It matched a co-working space she occasionally used for freelance gigs. That alone wasn't enough to prove her involvement, but then something strange happened. Marcus found an old text message from months back. Victoria had once bragged about using that co-working cafe downtown because it had cheap coffee and fast internet. When Marcus checked the timestamp, it aligned with the exact moment Sophie received the pregnancy email. It wasn't solid proof yet, but it was forming a shape, a pattern Victoria didn't expect to be detected. Then came the breakthrough. While digging through older messages, Marcus remembered something Victoria used to do. Back when they were married, she had this thing where she reused passwords for everything. She wasn't the type to memorize different logins. And Marcus knew one of her old passwords, the one she used for years before the divorce. It was wrong to try logging into someone's email. But Marcus wasn't trying to hack her. He was trying to save his own life. And when he typed that old password into one of the masked sender accounts, it logged in. That was the moment everything stopped. Inside the account, he found drafts. Dozens of them. Fake conversations. Edited screenshots waiting to be sent. Templates with Marcus's name added in believable tones. It wasn't just one lie. Victoria had been orchestrating an entire campaign. Marcus stared at the screen, feeling sick. Adrian looked like he could punch through a wall. The evidence was undeniable, irrefutable, and overwhelming. But they still needed the key piece, the thing that tied all of this directly to Victoria. They found it in the trash folder. It was an audio recording. A failed attempt at generating Marcus's voice. In the clip, the AI tool used to clone voices glitched, repeating a few words unnaturally. The file name included a fragment of Victoria's real name, her initials and the date. It was perfect. The missing piece. Marcus couldn't breathe for a moment. He just sat there holding his head, whispering, "Why? Why would she do this to me?" And honestly, that's the part that stayed with me. Because even when you have proof, even when you know someone went out of their way to destroy you, your heart still wants a reason. A justification. Something to make it make sense. But with people like Victoria, there is no sense. Marcus knew he had to show Sophie everything. But he also knew she might not believe him right away. Emotional wounds don't close the moment evidence appears. So he decided to bring witnesses. Adrian insisted on coming along. And he also contacted Daniel, Sophie's cousin, the only person in her family who actually liked him. E evitar esse nome normal, mas aqui ele so figurant e irrelevant, posso trocar esse preferir. Daniel agreed to be present to ensure Sophie listened. When Marcus returned home, Sophie's eyes were puffy. Her face looked pale, tired, and swollen from crying. She didn't say his name when he walked in. She just nodded coldly, gesturing for him to sit. Adrian and Daniel sat beside him like anchors. Marcus took a deep breath and said, "I'm going to show you something. And I need you to listen. Really listen." He opened his laptop and began. At first, Sophie's face didn't change. She watched with empty eyes as he showed the ultrasound metadata. Then the email headers. Then the IP logs. She blinked a few times, slightly confused, slightly uncomfortable. But when he opened the masked email account and played the glitched AI-generated voice file, something inside her cracked. She covered her mouth with both hands as tears spilled down her cheeks. Her breathing grew quick and shallow. She shook her head repeatedly, whispering, "No, no, she wouldn't, she couldn't." Marcus didn't say a word. He wasn't angry. Just broken. The final blow, the moment Sophie finally accepted the truth, came when Marcus revealed the drafts folder. The dozens of fake conversations Victoria created. The screenshots she planned to send next. The ones Sophie never even saw. Sophie fell to the floor sobbing. Hard. Violently. She kept repeating, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry," as if apologizing could undo every wound. Adrian quietly left the room to give them space. Daniel followed. Marcus knelt in front of her, but he didn't touch her. He didn't know if he could. After everything he'd endured, he wasn't sure if his heart could hold both pain and forgiveness at the same time. But Sophie reached for him first. She grabbed his shirt, burying her face in his chest, and cried like her entire world was collapsing. Because in a way, it was. She had allowed someone else's lie to replace the truth. She had let fear overpower love. Eventually, she choked out the question Marcus had been dreading. What do we do now? Marcus didn't have an answer. Rebuilding trust wasn't a switch he could flip. He had lost pieces of himself in the process, pieces Sophie didn't even know existed. But he did know one thing: Victoria wasn't going to get away with this. The next day, they met with an attorney. They handed over every piece of evidence. The lawyer was stunned by the level of detail Victoria had gone through. She said there were grounds for a restraining order, defamation charges, emotional damages, and even digital fraud crimes. For once, the law was on Marcus's side. Victoria was confronted by authorities 2 weeks later. She denied everything at first, of course she did. People like her believe their own lies. But when the detective showed her the masked email drafts and the AI-generated voice files, her facade cracked. She didn't confess, but she didn't need to. The evidence spoke louder than her silence. Marcus didn't attend the confrontation. He didn't want to see her face ever again. Sophie asked if she could come along for support, but he told her he needed to do that part alone, not physically, but emotionally. She understood. Healing wasn't immediate. It took months. There were nights Marcus slept on the couch voluntarily because Sophie felt guilty but also awkward around him. There were mornings when she apologized for the smallest things, as if trying to compensate for the damage. Marcus tried not to resent her, but he was human. And humans bruise easily. Still, they worked through it. Therapy helped. Talking helped. And slowly, Sophie rebuilt the bridge she had burned without realizing it. But the truth, the real truth, is that something inside Marcus changed forever. He told me once, trust used to be easy for me. Now it's a conscious decision. And honestly, I get that. Once someone weaponizes trust against you, you never look at it the same way again. Victoria faced legal consequences. The exact ones don't matter as much as the fact that she no longer had any power over Marcus. That chapter closed. Not peacefully, not gracefully, but finally. Sophie eventually became the one who reminded Marcus of his worth. She became more attentive, more intentional, more appreciative. She fought for the marriage she almost lost. And Marcus, well, he let her. Because love isn't about perfection. It's about choosing someone even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. I've shared Marcus's story because it stuck with me. Because it reminded me how fragile relationships can be, and how dangerous resentment is when mixed with obsession. Honestly, every time I think about what Victoria did, I'm amazed at how far people can go when they can't let go. And now, to close this story the way it deserves. I'll say something personal here, something I've learned watching stories like Marcus's unfold. Lies can spread fast, but truth has a strange habit of surviving even the darkest storms. It finds its way back, piece by piece, even when it looks lost. And if there's one thing I hope people take from this, it's that trust might bend, relationships might shake, but when two people choose to rebuild, the truth becomes stronger than the lie that tried to destroy it.